types of computers. There's supercomputers, mainframe computers, money computers, microcomputers, and mobile computers. They are the categories of computers that you can get. This is supercomputer in terms of speed going down to mobile computers. Now, under classification of computers in general, we have general purpose computers, you have specific purpose computers, and supercomputers. Now, your general purpose computers compute a range of tasks but lack super speed and efficiency. The purpose of computers in this category might differ from one another. For example, you have desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones. These are all general purpose computers. So they will differ in terms of what they have to offer, in terms of the features, in terms of some of the applications that you run, like you run full application desktop as compared to a smartphone. But these are all general purpose computers. You have specific purpose computers that handle a specific problem or task. It uses a high level of accuracy and processing power. Examples are servers for a specific purpose, and embedded devices. We'll do more about this in the next slide, embedded devices. Then we have supercomputers are extremely expensive, and the applications are for specialized activities or tasks such as weather forecasting. So weather forecasting requires a lot of processing, a lot of speed. It requires speed in processing, in calculations. So we use supercomputers that are extremely expensive. Now, when we classify computers in terms of data processing and capacity, let's look at laptops. Example of a laptop. Laptop computers are used for almost anything from document processing in an office environment to graphic design and video editing. You can use it for browsing the internet, playing games. However, laptop computers are easily moved around, allowing you to work anywhere, anytime. Tells you all the features of laptop computers, what you can use it for, and the fact that it is mobile. You can carry it around with you. It's medium to high processing power, and there's it fully mobile. Then you have desktop computers. In an office, you got a desktop computer. Desktop computer uses are exactly the same as those of laptop, except that a desktop is not mobile. So the desktop and laptop works in a similar nature, but the desktops are larger, takes more space, but it's not mobile. So if you look at the processing power, it can be the same as a laptop. It depends on what you buy. It has minimal mobility. It's an effort to move it around. You have to unplug the desktop and move it around. Whereas your laptop works on battery. Your smartphones, they're better than desktops at tasks that require a very mobile device, like taking photos, setting alarms, navigating the roads, making calls, sending and receiving short messages. So it's mainly used also for internet activities and is used on the go. It's medium to low processing power. So there's not a lot of processing as with desktop and laptops. And it's excellent mobility because it's small and easy to carry around. Same with tablets. They may be a little larger than smartphones, but you can also carry it around. Information on keyboard, screen size, and applications. So if you look at it, you can have an on-screen keyboard. Reading of books is better on a tablet than a smartphone, so it's got a larger screen. It makes it easier to work with in terms of that. There's medium processing power and excellent mobility. We have servers. These are huge machines. You can have, there's different servers. It all depends on what it's being used for. Servers are designed for managing networks, providing access to specific files and hosting websites, as well as processing huge amounts of data. So if you look at hosting websites, and these are huge servers. If you're looking at a small network in a room, you'll have a smaller server that will be managing the network. They have high processing power and there's no mobility. You cannot move your server around. Right? It's connected or it's for managing a network. Then you have embedded computers. Embedded devices are devices designed for a fixed purpose, whether that purpose is to wake you up in the morning, control the temperature of the air conditioning room or refrigerator, or any navigation system. Now, examples of embedded computers are like your ATM, your MP3 players, DVD players, drones, they all have embedded computers. Right, so there's the anti-lock, braking system, airbag control system, digital watches. So a lot of devices you use have an embedded computer. Takes on its low processing power and it varies, depends on the device. The mobility varies, depends on the device. Obviously, you cannot move the refrigerator around, so it all depends on the device. Advantages of using computers. Why use computers? Right, it provides access to more information. Remember, using the internet, you can access the internet, you can get more information, research, so on. It completes tasks that might be impossible for humans to complete. Like we have robots to complete some tasks that humans cannot complete. So that's advantages. We also have very high or fast computation. That's not possible for humans, but it can be done very efficiently using computers. It saves time. The computer works faster, right? And it works 24/7. It does not need a rest, so it saves time. Automates repetitive tasks, as for example, in terms of factories, you have robots to do repetitive tasks. It will be faster than humans. Allows for greater productivity by using, as we said, because it saves time, it automates repetitive tasks that will allow for greater productivity in an environment. Allows for better communication and connections, that's through the network. Entertainment, which most of you will be familiar with. That's an advantage of using computers. Disadvantage, there are many disadvantages. One is social risks. So I'm just going to look at core concepts. Yes, social risks can be addictive because you do a lot of social networking, posting on social media, and becomes addictive. People cannot stop themselves from doing that, and it leads to making them sometimes less happy. It can lead to jealousy. So are dangers to that, and gets in the way of real life friendships. Then you have health risks. Like using it for long periods of time, you can end up with back pain, eye strain, obesity. You also have CTS and RSI, carpal tunnel syndrome and repetitive strain injury. We'll cover this later on in the year. But this is all through using, for example, the keyboard and a mouse for long periods of time. Security risks created by malware. Malware is bad software that attack your computer system, like your viruses. And that's an example of malware. So it has security risk where your data can be stolen. Your data can be stolen and can destroy files, right? High cost, they're very expensive for the average person. It is not cheap to buy a computer for the average person. That's a disadvantage. And they are disadvantaged. The average person that cannot buy a computer is disadvantaged. Distractions and disruptions. Because of the high entertainment value, computers, you have internet browsing, you can watch videos, there's chats, there's gaming, then people use hours of their time. And this reduces their productivity. So therefore, in the workplace, there are restrictions on using or the internet or browsing on the internet and what should be done and should not be done. That again is covered later on. Environmental impact, it uses a lot of electricity. Because computers use a lot of electricity, electricity needs to be generated, which means there is more carbon emissions, which impacts on our planet. So a huge environmental impact. So using a computer will leads to negative impact on our planet because of its carbon emissions through the use of electricity. The last aspect is data and information management. Now, what is data? Data can be defined as unprocessed numbers or facts. Without first processing or changing data, it is meaningless. Now, data is, for example, the school may have may have data like your names, surnames, address, and all your other details, as well as results of your tests, your assessments that you have. It's a lot of data that the school has. Now, this data, if you process it, can become meaningful, and that becomes information. Information can be defined as facts and numbers that have been organized and processed so that it is useful and meaningful to people. So this is unprocessed numbers of facts. This is information is processed numbers and facts. For example, we're looking at this all this data that we have about you on the computer system. If your mathematics teacher wanted to see how well your current class is performing compared to last year's class, then she can look and ask for the school's database administrator to process the data. You work at the average from last year, work at the average of the current year, and you'll be able to decide from the averages how the classes are performing. So by working out the average, that's a process that's happening on the data of the marks. So the marks are the data. The average is the process data. So that's information. So the average is information, but the marks itself is data. Another example is the end of the year school report. All the data that the teachers have collected during the year is processed into a single report that shows your performance. So your marks for the year is data, but once you have a report that is now processed, so that's information. So your marks are the raw facts, but your report is the information. Right. Information is useful in an organization because it speeds up decision-making process and helps the business to improve their business service offering. So information is useful because it helps you to make decisions. Like your data could be what items are being sold in a shop, and in your process, you will see, you're processing it, you will see which items sell fast and which do not sell fast. And that will help you to make business decisions. Now, for example, of an ICT system, we spoke about supermarkets and chain stores are using ICT systems for a variety of reasons, one being a point of sale, a POS system, point of sale system. An example of a point of sale system, a supermarket's ICT system is a standalone computer, your cash register, and a barcode reader. Right, that's some of the equipment that's used. The barcode is scanned and the stripes are converted into numerical data. There's your barcode as thick and thin stripes or stripes of different widths, which is transferred to, the barcode is transferred to the checkout computer, which is your cash register. The stock is scanned and is processed. It gets a price on the barcode. It can reduce the stock number because you're purchasing the product, and you can output the item and the price. So your input is your barcode. You identify the product, the name of the product. You check the price. You also check availability, stock availability, maybe location. It all depends on what software you're using and what processing takes place, and your output as well. What is required, for example, the price and the item. It all depends on the software we use in your ICT system. Your application now is 1.3 to 1.5, as well as the consolidation activity on page 18 to 20. So this is the end of computing concepts. Thank you, boys and girls.